Dr. Trang Ly is a renowned expert in artificial pancreas and diabetes technologies. Most recently, she served as clinical assistant professor in the Division of Pediatric Endocrinology. Dr. Ly, it is fascinating. It is National Diabetes Month. So many people struggle and anguish over their challenges with diabetes, and it seems to impact some more than it does others. But you are here today to talk about a new technology to help people sort of navigate this growing issue. Talk about what is futuristic and what is it that people need to do a better job of and when it comes to this diabetes, because we also, Meg Cremins was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at the age of 5 and celiac disease at age 15. And after struggling throughout her teenage years with her diabetes management, she now shares her journey also about living a healthy, balanced, and joy-filled life. Online, Meg just finished the New York City Marathon, and let me tell you, that's a feat in and of itself. But Dr. Ly, tell us what is out there that people should be aware of.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us. I would say the thing to be aware of is type 1 diabetes is a very burdensome condition. It's often, there's often no family history, and people are diagnosed very suddenly, and they present with weight loss and thirst and needing to go to the toilet very frequently. And these are very acute symptoms that generally appear out of nowhere. And if people have these symptoms of weight loss and feeling thirsty, they should definitely see their doctor and get checked out for type 1 diabetes.
Well, tell us the difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes.
Yeah, so with type 1, generally a younger population who are previously completely healthy and out of the blue get diagnosed with those symptoms. So it occurs because of a autoimmune destruction of the beta cells. So the same cells that kick in when you get the general flu or a virus, for some reason, we don't know exactly why, that immune reaction causes the destruction of the pancreatic beta cells. So that is what we call type 1 diabetes. And in that condition, it's life-threatening and you need insulin therapy immediately, and you need it for the rest of your life to stay alive. So it's really important that people with type 1 diabetes, people like Meg, have access to insulin therapy and have effective therapies that can be given so that insulin can be given safely and exactly the right amount for people to live. Type 2 diabetes generally occurs in the older population, generally occurs over many years, and a large percentage of people have either genetic predisposition or have or suffer from obesity, that these are risk factors for type 2 diabetes, and also generally happens as you age as well. So as we all get older, we're all at risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And that tends to be a condition that happens steadily over time, where there's progressive loss of beta cell function. And when you're diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, it means that your pancreas just can't keep up with managing your glucose levels anymore. And so you need therapy for that. In the beginning, it's often oral medication, and then later on, as the disease progresses, you may need insulin therapy.
Meg, what is the hardest part for you in managing this disease? And when you look at where you started and you think about the devices and treatments that are more technologically advanced and relevant today, what are the differences for you?
Yeah, so it is just a disease that takes so much time and effort. And really what the technology has allowed us to do is get back time in our life, right? It just simplifies things. There's still effort that we have to put in. We still have to prepare, but it's really made it be able to make life easier. So I can run the marathon and not have to worry as much about this blood sugar because I have this technology that's helping me.
Is diet, Meg, the best way to manage it? And what role does technology play?
So diet can play a part. Insulin is the medicine that we need. But we do have to pay attention to diet, count carbohydrates, pay attention to what we're putting into our body, because we have to be able to dose the insulin appropriately for what we're eating.
You know, years ago, the idea of an artificial pancreas would have been, you would have been hallucinating. But that's the reality of the world today, Dr. Ly.
That's right. It's still relatively new technology, and not everyone with type 1 diabetes even knows about this technology, and very few people with type 2 diabetes actually use technology such as glucose sensors and pumps. And so it has revolutionized insulin delivery, especially for the type 1 population and young people, actually people of all ages like Meg with type 1. So the systems that we develop deliver insulin very precisely directly into the patient, and it does that by taking the glucose sensor signal from continuous glucose sensors, such as the Dexcom G6. So these devices are worn on body. They directly talk to each other with the Omnipod insulin delivery system, and every 5 minutes, it's giving you exactly the right insulin that you need to stay in range.
Coming up later, virtual Murrell will be joining us to talk about his new book. We're going to come back with Meg and Dr. Ly with much more as we remember and pay focus to National Diabetes Month. Remember these fast facts. 37 million Americans have diabetes, 5 to 10% diagnosed with type 1, and 90 to 95% diagnosed with type 2. The 7th leading cause of death in the United States. We'll be back. Meg, when you think about the fact of what you've had to overcome and you were able to run that marathon, what kind of hope does that give others? And then also talk about how critical the relationship is between the physician and the patient.
Yeah, I mean, running a marathon in itself is difficult, but doing it with diabetes, you have this other level of management that you have to do. You're not just training for a long run. You're also training for how you're going to manage your blood sugars on that day. So I would just say to people who have type 1, and just advocate with your doctor. What do you want to do with your life? And find that technology that helps support what those things are that you want to do.
Should the government play a greater role with providers and patients, Dr. Lee? And if so, what is that role?
Yeah, I think the access to technology is really critical, and there's really fantastic technology out there, but in order for it to reach as many users as possible, governments need to pay for it. And I think around the nation, we are seeing excellent coverage of the products, but certainly there's always opportunity to increase the accessibility, to reduce out-of-pocket costs for users. And so we're always looking at ways to do that at Insulet.
You know, we're here in Washington, D.C., and one of the biggest issues for many Americans are the astronomical rise in health costs. How do we tap down to bring the costs down, Dr. Ly?
Yeah, I think the technology has to be beneficial for people, and I see that very much in the technology of Omnipod 5. So before, without this technology, people had to manage their diabetes on their own and figure out exactly how much insulin to give and be at risk of both high blood sugar levels as well as low. And so technology and innovation like Omnipod 5 brings life-changing benefits to people like Meg, enabling her to run marathons. I mean, it's just incredible what this technology can do. So it's this very precise insulin delivery that we're able to do with Omnipod 5. And it is, in fact, the world's first and only tubeless automated insulin delivery system. And it's this type of technology, it's incumbent upon companies like ours to improve the technology and bring innovation that is life-changing to users. And that is what enables us to continue to bring benefits to our users.
Take us through an average day for you who have suffered, Meg, to what is your life like today?
Well, I would say that, back when I didn't have technology like this, the biggest thing that comes to mind is sleep. So like having to treat a low or high blood sugar in the middle of the night, it just sets your whole day up for failure because you're tired, and then you also have to manage your blood sugars during the day. Technology like this helps you sleep through the night, and it helps you just manage those blood sugars without as much effort so that you're able to focus more on your day. You're able to live the life that you want.
We have continuous glucose monitors and so many other advances. Dr. Ly, what is next that has you excited?
In diabetes, I think continuing to bring convenience and reducing the burden of diabetes for our users is always at the forefront of our minds. Like, how do we make Meg's life easier so that she can run her next marathon and not worry so much? I think still today, diabetes is, even with the best of technology, it still is incredibly burdensome. People have to watch what they eat and having to dose the right amount of insulin in order to really optimize their glucose levels and keep them in range. The issue with blood glucoses being out of range, especially running high, is the risk of kidney disease and nerve damage and cardiovascular outcomes and all of that. So it is a disease where if you don't manage it, or if you don't have all the tools to best manage it, then you're at risk of complications later on. And so that is something that I'm looking at and what we're focused on as a company is bringing our technology, Omnipod 5, to as many users around the world as quickly as possible.
Well, I cannot thank you and Meg enough for joining us, Dr. Ly. And is America leading the way?
Yeah, absolutely. We today we are absolutely leading the way in automated insulin delivery for people with diabetes.
Thank you both, and thank you so much for what you do. And Meg, thank you so much for sharing your story and giving people for hope who also suffer with diabetes. I'm Armstrong Williams. When we return, Virtual Murrell tells his journey about the hope for America. We'll be back.
It is easier to build up strong children than to try and repair broken men.
The streets are plagued with crime, violence. There's a lot of poverty, and it's all a result of lack of education that's happening in our schools. So it really is a crisis.
We come from very different political perspectives, but we've come to the same conclusion, and that is there is a crisis in the classroom. Children are being deprived of quality of life because they're being deprived of a good education. We must solve this problem. It's incumbent upon all of us to join hands together to get this done.
We can't afford to wait one more day before we address these issues, because every day we lose another child.
Let's stop the politicking. Let's stop the games. Let's really do something to give these kids a real chance at life and being a part of that American dream.
We need accountability for funding. Many of the districts where you're seeing very low test scores, students graduating with very low literacy and math comprehension rates, they are receiving a lot of funding. So where is the money going where our kids aren't being adequately educated?
If you believe every child is deserving of a quality education, please go to educationjusticefoundation.com. Bertram Murrell, thank you for being in our broadcast house. The memoir of a Black Panther. Wow. Talk about In Pursuit of America's Promise and your journey, and your book.
It's been a journey. It's been a journey to hold America and the Constitution to its promise for all Americans.
Is America making progress in that promise?
Yes.
And where is the hard work that's needed now?
The hard work today, I would suspect, is among the people themselves.
Mm-hmm. And what is it that the people need to do themselves?
To understand that the salvation of America and the direction of America for its future rests upon its people. There needs to be a committed understanding that we're all going to get there together.
How important, because you talk about this in the book, the morality, the principles, the discipline, tradition in that journey?
It is extremely important, and I, from time to time, get lost in understanding, and what keeps me going is my moral clarity, a moral certainty that we will get there. When I think about how hard we had it in the 60s, the 50s, the 40s, it doesn't take long for me to quickly reflect on the journey of our ancestors from West Africa to America on a transatlantic voyage. We could not have had it any more difficult than they did.
Where is there?
Pardon?
Where is there that we're trying to get to?
We want to be considered by all to be Americans. Not second class and not third class. Americans.
What is the best example in what discipline, in what field where you believe that America is at its best, showing that everyone is equal and valued and brings something special to this tapestry?
I don't think I've seen it.
You haven't?
No, but
have you seen it anywhere else around the world?
No, but I have seen progress in visualizing that concept. And what I've seen, the Voting Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act, where we fall short is on the economic issues. We fall short.
When you say economic, you mean creating wealth, having more opportunities, a better education, more entrepreneurs?
Wealth generation, creating wealth from generation to generation. The way to do that is by land and ownership of land. And we are losing that basic ownership.
And why?
Land. Well, some of us sold land to move to other places where we thought it would be better.
But isn't that a free will and it's a choice that we make?
It is free will. It is free will, but it's also a miscalculation.
So what is your advice to people who think about selling their land?
Hold on to your land. Hold on to that wealth. Hold on to it and build on it. Build on that land. Whatever you have to build to make it more profitable, whether it's crops, but make it work for you. We have a situation, Armstrong, that we have to create our opportunities. And there are three basic ways to do it: through the legal system, through education, and through voting. All else falls as subcategories to those three fundamental areas. If we're not educated, if we don't fight the legal fights through the courts, if we don't get an education, we're going to lose.
One of the, I think the most important parts of your book is the structure of the family.
I'm sorry?
It's the structure of the family, the men in the household. men raising their sons, sons having fathers, and talk about the need for men of character and discipline and sacrifice and leadership.
You know, Marvin Gaye used to write about things like the children. The children are the leaders of our future. And if we don't give them strong moral principles, if we don't raise them to understand what America is about and what it's for and who benefits from it, we lose.
What do you think the greatest progress, and we're talking to Virtual Murrell in his new book, In Pursuit of America's Promise, what do you think the greatest work needs to be done?
Voting.
Voting?
Yes. I think we...
To you, it doesn't matter whom they vote for, you just want them to vote.
Vote.
Vote, okay.
Vote. Progress that we've made has been made through voting.
The ballot.
Absolutely. You're from South Carolina. I am originally from Louisiana. The South is the salvation for America because that's where the votes are. That's where our people are, that's where African Americans are. And if we don't target, I don't care what party you belong to, but our salvation, where we can build on, is by voting.
Virtual Murrell is our guest, the author of The Pursuit of America's Promise. We'll be back with some final thoughts. I'm Armstrong Williams.
As a home buyer, you need a lender who cares about your home ownership dreams. United Security Financial has been helping families secure their dream homes for 30 years. We're a national fair practice lender that provides affordable mortgages and low down payment programs to eligible home buyers. To learn how United Security Financial can help you secure your dream home, call 1-800-373-4186.
You know, there's so much pain in this volume of work by you. How do people heal the wounds?
The short answer is with victories. The long answer is through work, hard work, organization, recognizing that once again, Armstrong, our ability to free ourselves of the pain is by recognizing that nothing comes without a struggle. The pain.
No, go, please.
The pain is consistent with not struggling. Just the pain being inflicted upon you. How do you respond to that pain? By reversing. How do you reverse it? Education, the judicial system, and voting.
So the important question to you is, do you think this reality, this pursuit of equality in America will ever happen? Are we close to that dream?
I don't know if I can answer that question, but I can answer it the way that is addressed to me. But I can answer it this way. What else can we do? We have to struggle and strive for it. So long as we hear generational strength, generational development, and evolution will make it better.
Well, I encourage people to go to Amazon and wherever to get your copy of your book. It's The Pursuit of America's Promise. It's on sale, www.virtualmurrell.com. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank you for having me, Armstrong.
Show.
It's been a
And thank
pleasure.
you for writing your book, In Pursuit of America's Promise.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.